My name is Mr. C. Welcome on board this special session. We're going to be taking this through to when we get to hand over to the Igbo belt. But yes, for those of us who have been keen watchers of happenings in Nigeria, in Abia, particularly as it has to do with communities in Abia State, I'm sure you would agree with me that it is no longer news that the process that led to the emergence of a new Ezearo for the Arochukwu Kingdom was marked with some form of controversies. Well, nevertheless, the Abia State government, through the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs at the tail end of 2023, presented a certificate and staff of office to Pastor Eberechukwu Kanu Orji as the new Ezearo. However, Mazi Godwin Kanuide, as we speak, is laying claim to the Ezearo title, insisting that his coronation followed the customs and traditions of the Arochukwu people, which has been passed down by their forefathers. Well, on this platform last week, some youth from the ancient kingdom did appear to tell us and shed more light on the history about the traditions for the stool. And they didn't stop there. They did appeal to the governor, Dr. Alex Oti, to intervene in their words, so that in the words, the tradition of in the words, Arochukwu people should be maintained. Well, this is light on these issues. We are being joined live in the studio by some stakeholders as well from the Arochukwu Kingdom. First off, we've got Ambassador Okereke Henry. A very good morning to you, Ambassador. Welcome to this special session.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Yes. Also being joined live in the studio by Engineer Chris DK, live in the studio as well.
Good morning, Mr. C, and good morning, viewers.
Mr. Walter Okoroji is here too. Good morning to you. Welcome to this session.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Okay. Well, so, I mean, it's interesting that a process that happened sometime last year, one would imagine that issues ought to have been done and dusted with the report of Pastor Eberechukwu Orji being issued certificate and staff of office. But, I mean, it's pretty surprising, I'm sure, for an onlooker or somebody who has been following keenly, that these issues, the grey areas that are yet to be cleared. I mean, for the obtained time, what is really going on?
Mr. C, I will leave you with a question. Does the government really have the jurisdiction of making somebody a king from any community?
Well, I would like for us to follow so that those who do not have an idea of this case would follow through. What's really happening at the moment?
His Royal Majesty, as a Godwin Kanu de Kanokoro Kenachi, who is the authentic Ezearo, was duly selected according to our tradition, and was also duly crowned according to the tradition of Arochukwu. Ebere, as a person, did not pass any process. He did not pass through any ritual. Now, if you call yourself an Eze, there is a place you go and pour libation as an Eze. Let him go there and pour and come back alive. They will know it's an Eze. He has not done and performed any traditional rite that will qualify him as Eze. So I don't know where Commissioner for Local Government Affairs and his governor gets that their own tradition to crown somebody. The government does not make anybody Eze of any community. It is not their duty. It is the duty of the community to say this is our Eze. They now present to the government for mere recognition. Kanu Orji was Eze in 1914. He was recognized by the government of the 1979 when Mbakwe gave him certificate of recognition and staff of office. After 50-something years, Mbakwe recognized him as Eze. But he had been ruling Aro happily over these years before Mbakwe recognized him. So recognizing Ebere is nothing to us. That is That is not to say he's a king. Selection of Eze, the way he was selected, is that the way? Is that our tradition? The answer is no. We don't do voting for Eze. It's a natural thing. You don't vote Eze. Eze is born, not by voting.
Is it hereditary? Is that the word?
Very, very hereditary. Eze Kanu Okoro Okinachi was Ezaro before he was arrested by the British and took him to Calabar where he died. That is the ancestral lineage of this Eze Godwin candidate. That's where it's coming from. Ebere's grandfather became Eze. He wasn't an Eze, he was a regent king. He was a regent all through the time when Elizabeth was recognizing him. He was a regent. It's written. Who gave him this thing to hold for his family? Kanu Okoro Okinachi gave him the power. Hold this thing for me until my children, my son, when his son has grow up, so I can ascend the throne. But eventually, the man grew up and he didn't talk about it. He was a careful person because this man is his brother, so they couldn't drag anything. He allowed him to be. So now it is the turn of this young man to assume the throne. Abraham came out from nowhere. He did not pass through any process. What are those processes? The process is that their family will bring you out to the immediate family. The immediate family will accept you and bring you to the larger family. The larger family will now take you to the whole village. Abraham did not pass all this process. He just came out.
Okay. Well, quite a foundation to start from there. And by the way, just to let you know that we're being joined virtually by Mr. Chidebere Gede. He's the Okinachi Youth President. Mr. Chidebere, good morning to you. I beg your pardon, this is afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's actually afternoon.
Yes, good morning. So, can I come in?
Yes, we'll get to your turn, but let me get to the gentleman right here in the studio because you did join us last week. Let me get to you, Mr. Walter. What is the brief of this? Because I would want for us to. A lot has been said about this. We did talk deeply on this last week, but we need to go into specifics so people would have an appreciation of what's really playing out.
Thank you very much. You see, everybody that is saying whatever they are saying is saying the right thing. In a community or in a village, they have their rules. They have their how they control their kingship or whatever. Besides, in Arochukwu, I have not seen where somebody that his father is still alive rule a community. What would the father say when the king comes out? Would the father bow to the king, or the king have to bow to the father? So, but all these things sounds funny, because even with the staff of office and all that, let him come out and speak to the people that he is the king. He can't come out. Rather, they are threatening us with police and army and all that. So, I think
why can't he come out?
Because he's not the king. He's not the king. The rightful king has been in Arochukwu trying to rule his people, and they have been threatening him with all sort of threatening, like selling threatening him with too many things and all that. But all the same, he will take it that it's just a question of time, things will go that way. That's
okay. So, well, let me also hear from the gentleman right here. You want to take it away, Ambassador Okeweke Henry. What do people need to know about what's really happening in Arochukwu?
Okay, thank you very much. Arochukwu Ancient Kingdom had crowned their king as of 20th October 2023. And I want to refer to the EKG publication last year, where His Royal Majesty was presented as the next SRO. He was presented as the next SRO in the last Ikeji brochure. And we all know that in the selection process of SRO, that the Kindred Union have nothing to do. Like, people are misinformed that Eberechukwu Orji was selected by the kingmakers known as Okennachi Kindred Union. That is false. Because Okennachi Kindred Union doesn't have any rights or wasn't even designated to do such by the authority in Arochukwu. Mazi Godwin Kanide was officially selected as the SRO of Arochukwu as far back as 2022 by the family in the UK, the royal family, in the presence of the father of Eberechukwu Orji. He partaked, he took the kola, he took the traditional items, which is in Ngwisi. And you know that evildoers or people that have plans would like to bring up excuses to stop some progressive or anything they know that they have selfish interests. It might interest you to know that Prince Joshua Nikanoji was the person that told the family that they should not rush in crowning the SRO. That yes, that the next SRO is Godwin, but they should wait till next year, which they have a plan, or they have already started this negotiation with the current government before they even.
When you say till next year, you're talking about 2025?
2023.
Okay.
As of start 2022.
Okay. Clear.
So the family, after the coronation of His Majesty, because His Majesty passed through the all traditional selection, the election or the selection committee came to be the Okennachi committee that they are telling that they are using as the kingmakers. What really called for that committee? The history of that committee was that this royal family, the Kano, the Ojo-Okoroke family, precisely, Prince Nikano Orji, and someone that was supposed to be the most senior in that ruling family, which is Orji Kano Orji, was having a dispute. They were having a serious dispute as of then, after the death of SRO. So the committee came into be to reconcile the family, to bring peace to the family, so that the SRO would be presented to the Arochukwu for crowning. So that was the reason for the constitution of the committee that they now refer as the SRO selection committee. When the political maneuver started, because when the committee derived from their reference to turn to kingmakers, the then SRO, someone that we regard as the SRO then, as the Arianzo, wrote to this committee that they should stay clear from SRO because they are not in the position to select SRO. The documents are there. It's in public domain. The government is aware of that. But they would like to compromise everything just to suit their narrative.
When you say they, who are you referring?
They when I mean the government and the people that they are backing. So
okay, because talking about the government, we did make this point and we did emphasize this point that the government has constantly and consistently said, hey, I mean, the government has not had any part in what's going on there. The only part they have played is coming through to intervene. But let me go into specifics so that there's quite a number of issues we want for you to address. We did reach out, just like how customs is, to give a fair hearing to every side to issues like this, to bring balancing and let the listeners get to know what exactly is going on from every side. We did reach out, of course, to the other side. We did cover the both sides. We did cover your side. We covered the other side as well. We did reach out to the government too. So we heard from every side, and then we're still following from the interview last week, still very open to having the other side come respond to some of the issues that were being raised. We did reach out to the necessary contact to have that happen. But nonetheless, while we are still anticipating that, we did have time to speak with the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. And then he spoke specifically on some of these issues. We'll take them bit by bit, and if you will, you would want to react to some of what he said. Now, first off, here's what he said with regards to whether or not the government has a part to play in this.
The position of the present government on all such matters is true. What's the position of government? To respect the rule of law, and then to respect the will of our people. And when it comes to community management or traditional institutions and money, it's all about the people. It's not about the government. The government has a role. The role of government is to recognize and endorse what the people have done. For Ezaro to emerge, they have ruling houses and they have kingmakers. And then these kingmakers will sit, look at the people that are advancing themselves, or the people who have been thrown up by their system, whatever they do. I'm not from Aaron. Okay, and so in this case, they had two candidates. And so the kingmakers sat down, 7 of them, went through their documentations, interviewed them, and then 5 out of 7 said, we believe that this so and so person, has passed merit to become the Ezaro. It is after their endorsement that they now forward the name to the Eze Bomisi, who will now do the coronation. The Eze Bomisi is not part of the kingmakers. His own is traditionally to crown. But in the case of Aro, after they had done that, the Eze Bomisi didn't like the person that the kingmakers chose, 5 of them as against you, and took the other person and went ahead and crowned him king. They said, no, you have usurped our powers. It is not within your power to select. Your power is to crown. That's where the crisis started. It was at that point that they communicated, they wrote, they petitioned the government that problem is brewing in Aro and all that. And the government waded in and told them, please, maintain status quo and then get back to the system and then try to follow your constitution. That's why I started talking about constitution. And His Excellency also, in his good-naturedness, also reached out to them, say, please, try and make peace. Let's not have crisis. Both of you, try and make peace and sort yourselves out. And even invited them. Discuss amongst yourselves how to sort out this problem. Unfortunately, one of them believed that, well, with or without the other, that this is a traditional matter, that nobody can tell them what to do. Eze Bomisi is there and all that. And we said, no, Eze Bomisi is not the governor. And Eze Bomisi is, your Eze Bomisi is also not the constitution. The majority of the people say this is the constitution that must lead us. And then he was warned to resign what he had done and go back to the tradition, go back to your people and sort it out. And he vehemently refused. It was at that point that I came in as the commissioner, overseeing the communities, and we put him on suspension for defying official directives.
Well, that's the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, talking about Mr. Uzon Wachuku. What's your reaction to some of what he said?
My reaction is that he lies from the pit of hell. He lies a lot. The selection of Eze, or the making of Eze in Aro, is not by election. And it can never be by election. It is an in-house thing. Those people he called the kingmakers, none of them are qualified to talk about Eze in Aro. none of them from A to Z, they are not qualified as a person to talk about, even to come near where Eze is being discussed. They're not qualified. Make investigations and find out what I'm saying. They're not qualified in any way. How can he, from my hair, call somebody a kingmaker in Aro? Who made those people kingmakers? Are they okay family? Are they from Oke's family? Let them tell us who fathers them in OK family. They are not. It is an in-house thing. It is a family thing to talk about Eze. It is not an external body thing. It is not a political thing.
Okay.
Now he said they now voted. Vote who? Is he not aware that one of them who is also serving SSA to the governor brought his peer to vote, who is not from Aruchukwu? Is not aware? They must amend this bullshit.
Well, you don't use certain words on air. I mean, we don't use swear words on air. You have to be calm when you're expressing your views. But let me get to you. What's your reaction to what he said?
Well, my brother, when somebody is saying the truth, you see it pure truth. The commissioner said what I think they told him. How can 7 people become a committee? The 7-man committee is not the kingmakers, like my brother just said. And with what he said after the election, which in Aruchukwu Kingdom, nothing like, you don't do election in kingship. You understand? Then, after doing it, you send the name to Ezibom, which he even said that Ezibom is not among of the kingmakers. So what is Ezibom's business rejecting who they brought if that thing is pure? I don't know if you're following me. So you see that whatever he's saying is what they say to him, he's reporting. But the true thing there now is that he's now implicating Ezibom for rejecting. Ezibom didn't reject anything. He didn't reject anybody. It's still this OK Nachi that owns the kingship, brought His Majesty Godwin. And he did the crowning process. Like he said earlier, there's some processes all these things take. You understand? Which Godwin went all these things. It's not 1 day thing, it's not 2 days. It's up to like one week.
1 year.
You understand? But this thing is something that will take 1 full year. You understand? So for what he's saying, to me, I didn't see any
Meaning?
I didn't see any meaning on it, because you cannot just say that the kingmakers.
So you're saying the processes he mentioned are not the processes that really should happen. But before we get to you, Ambassador, let me get to Mr. Gede on the phone. You heard what the commissioner said, didn't you?
Okay, sir. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Maazi Chidebere Egede. I'm a freeborn of Okenachi kindred in Aruchukwu Kingdom. Yes, Aruchukwu is a kingdom. It's an ancient kingdom. One thing I will never forget is when Maazi Joshua Enikanoji, pastor, he's a pastor, he organized a program on Ikeji Day. During Ikeji Day, on Ikeji Day, that was on our vote today. Meanwhile, whenever we start our Ikeji stuff, there will be no noise, no any other activities will be happening in Aruchukwu. Dare you try that, you will be penalized by the Aruchukwu Kingdom. Now, Maazi Eni Joshua Kano Oji organized that program. In that program, he was shouting, he wrote it even, that our tradition will now turn to Christian tradition. this our long age tradition will be modelized to Christian traditions. That's why we can host that program on Ikeji Day. So, for this, the same Eni wrote a book that Maazi can never be a king in Arochukwu. The same Eni. The value of Maazi in Aro. And I also remember that even when our late Eze, Obonia Vincent Asieko, died, Maazi Eni was there, present. If I'm to ask, what makes Maazi Eni not to come out for the Eze? And he ran back to push his son to come and destroy, to use his son to achieve that his aim. His son, who also a pastor, to come and achieve his aim of destroying our long age tradition. I'm from Okenachi. I'm talking the truth of this matter. God bear me witness. And we know that a people that do not acknowledge their history, their origin, their culture and tradition are like a tree without roots. When these people started to manipulate of the rightful person, who said no, with the Okenachi, that this would destroy the kingdom. Aro has been an ancient kingdom. What are we going to tell this 360 settlement of Arochukwu in diaspora? How can we convince our ancestors? No, we say no. Our tradition remains our tradition. Our tradition remains to produce the next Ezaro. Now, to be sincere with you, they now went on with Maazi Eni Kanu Oji and his group to push ahead to bring his son, Pastor Ebere, Mwamazi Pastor Ebere, to impose him on us in Okenachi kindred. We said no. Entire Okenachi come up with one voice.
Hello. Yeah, I think network has meant we can't hear from Mr. Gather. They will try and re-establish contact and bring it on board. But you were going to say something, Ambassador.
Okay.
Ambassador Okereke Henry.
Referring to what the commissioner said, or from the statement of the commissioner, I will say that statement is a political statement just to suit the public and what the public want to say. So what really transpired is that the committee he is making reference to as the kingmakers are not in any way close as kingmakers. Let's talk. Let's use an instance. Yes, there is a kindred union for the Okenachis, which is known as the Okenachi Kindred Union. And what is the union all about? A town union is to bring development to the community. They are not the traditional institution of the Okenachi. The Okenachi Kindred have their own traditional institution, which is headed by the Ezaro. And in the absence of the Ezaro, the Arianzo is the head of the Okenachi traditional institution. And in the case of making a new Ezaro, I think the traditional institution headed by the Arianzo as of that time really made a statement. What is this? What was their statement? Was the government really interested to hear their own part of the story? I made reference to what Prince Joshua Nikanoji did earlier when His Majesty Godwin Kanide was initially selected and presented to the whole royal family and the Oroke in general. You know that he has a plan. Yeah, he has a plan. That's why he initiated that delay tactics to get the right time of making his taking his plans. So in this case of the Okenachi, let me say the kingmakers, the governor, the commissioner to the governor of local government and chieftaincy referred is not recognized.
They're not recognized in the process.
They are not recognized.
As far as Arochukwu Kingdom is concerned. Well, I mean, like I said, the specifics would want you to address, and these are some of the comments when we put forward these questions to the government through the commissioner. What he said. Well, you would react. I mean, he did follow through with this, the commissioner.
There's something I want to.
Yes, before that, you would.
And then a board of inquiry was set up to tell you that the governor had no. It's okay, just find out exactly what is happening. Let an independent body investigate this matter. And then the board of inquiry was inaugurated. Some of their people came and gave their testimonies. The board of inquiry, headed by Justice Ibua Komas. Anybody in Abia State knows that he's a respected jurist that had retired. Fine gentleman. And the chairman of the Abia State Traditional Rulers Council, he's also from Arochukwu local government. So they understand the issues. And the zonal chairman, who is the first deputy chairman of the Abia State Traditional Rulers Council, who is from Abia Central. And then a nominee from the Ministry of Justice, Abia State Ministry of Justice. Of course, a nominee from the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Local Government Affairs to keep records, because we are the parent ministry in this matter. And then they sat for 6 weeks and reached their conclusions. Not just on that matter, but on other issues too, concerning another traditional ruler in another place. So they made their recommendations, government sat at the recommendation, and the recommendation was straightforward. That the man had defied official instructions and has also refused to present himself to be heard, and had gone ahead and was making all kinds of comments, the person he crowned, against official instructions, because they were told, even by the police, look, there is a lot of, when they make a lot of noise. They made a lot of noise. Some of them were bragging that they have the money. It's not about the money. It's about following due process. And the people were saying this is going to cause trouble. And the people were just waiting for government. If government doesn't do anything, then there's going to be big crisis. Very big crisis. Because the majority of ours who found out later were on the other side. So even the commissioner of police saw what was happening. And then we told them, look, you people, you said you want to do coalition.
Well, Ambassador, react to that.
Okay. From the statement he just made about the board of inquiry, that it was constituted and some people refused to come. You know that what really happened is that after Ezibomisi, Dr. Kanu Wakano perform his traditional responsibility, initially the government who was really interested in a particular candidate.
Now, let me bring a perspective to this. I mean, based on what he said, just like they have emphasized, we are a government. We cannot sit idly by and watch whatever community, whatever it is they are doing, be it whatever culture and tradition they intend to perform. cause chaos. It's going to spill and it's going to affect the generality. So we step in to ensure that that does not happen. And just like you heard him say, he said if the government did not step in, there would have been chaos. And that from the panel that was set up, other persons came to give their testimonies. The Eze Bomisi failed to come. I'm sure you heard him say that.
Yeah.
So you want to take it off?
That's what I want to react on. So, as I was saying, the government initially instructed the 2 days after the Eze Bomisi performing his traditional rites by crowning the qualified prince as Ezaro. The government instructed the PG of Nzukaro, who was supposed to be neutral in this matter, to tell the Eze Bomisi to crown crown or reverse the crowning of His Majesty Godwin Kennedy. Eze Bomisi says, see, if this is really coming from the governor, that the governor should write it down, put it in writing, so that if he's acting on it, he will say that yes, this is the instruction of the governor. So what happened is that the messenger left, and what Eze Bom got after 3 days after, which was on 25th October, was suspension letter from the government, and Eze Bomisi took them to court. Eze Bom took the government to court to challenge their decision to suspend him because he performed his traditional responsibility.
So he was intent on appearing before the panel, but he only requested that that message has to be on written form. Is it?
No. There was no panel then.
Okay.
The instruction from the governor to uncrown His Majesty Godwin Kennedy in the next 24 hours. That was the initial message from the government 2 days after the crowning of Mazi Godwin. So Eze Bomisi took them to court, and the process, and they have already been served before the government inaugurated that board of inquiry. The board of inquiry was inaugurated on 16th of November, which by that time the case is already in the court. And you know that Eze Bomisi cannot. They didn't invite Eze Bomisi. They know fully well they didn't invite the Eze Bomisi because the case is in court and it's prejudice for him to appear there. Because government is not only the executive. When we are talking about the government, we have the judiciary, and they have their work to do. So the commissioner saying that Eze Bomisi didn't come to the board of inquiry, they know that the case was in court. A court of competent jurisdiction was handling this case. So why is he coming to a board of inquiry that was constituted by the executive arm of government? And you know that since the case is already in court, what the executive arm of government was to do was to remain neutral and wait for the outcome of the court. But you know that they have their interest in it, and they need self-help, because their board of inquiry was all about helping themselves to see how they can manipulate and maneuver a lot of things. So that is it. Okay.
Well, you were going to say something.
Yes, I was about saying something.
Yes.
You know, when he said committee, kingmakers, I tried to let him know that those people are not kingmakers. They were only a committee set to bring peace to the family. That was their job. Did he ask them what was their report? Report was read to us the first day. The second day that we were about to hearing the final report, the NAMPOST, they seized the president of that union, Mazu Dochioke, seized the report, went to the man who chaired that committee, Sobaz, Obas Lawson, is the chairman of that committee. He went to him And I told him that the governor said that Ebere would be the king. The man said, no, that is not our report. We have already made a report, submitted to everybody. Why would you change the report now? Based on that, the man said, my hand is no more there. I can't be part of this. He left them. Now, the committee is 7 who voted. That is what they said. Sobas has left. How many was supposed to remain, sir? Is it not 6? So where did they get 7 from? Justice Onwuchepa left. Remaining 5. Where did they get 7 from? It is a simple question. The committee, what do they call them? The panel of inquiry did not even give us room to talk. I was there myself.
Okay, you visited the
Yes, of course, I was there. The day Zaru went to stand before them, we were all there. They never, now they say they bring their report, they bring other people talk. Do they give us room to talk? No way. Even the Zaru, his Roman is God candidate, Kanokoro, they didn't even give him room to talk, to explain things to them. They only shut him down. Is that the way to do an inquiry?
Okay. Well, in case you just tuned in, it's a special...
No fair hearing at all. No fair. Even from the commissioner. Has he ever invited God before? He has never.
All right. Well, a special interview with stakeholders of Arochukwu Kingdom. And, of course, the last not being heard of the, Ezearu kingship. The tussle apparently still back and forth, despite that certificate and a staff of office has been issued to Pastor Berechukwu Orji. Live in the studio, I've got Ambassador Okereke Henry, Engineer Chris Dike, and Mr. Walter Okoroji, and virtually... Yes, Isnter. Engineer Chris Dike is Isnter.
That's it.
It's a guest live, and of course we also have joining us virtually Mr. Egede Chidebere, who is the Okenachi Youth President. My name is Mr. C. When we return from this break, we'll get to have more specifics on what the government said through the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. And of course, get to the phone line. Stay with us. As we turn to the frequency of Family Love 99.9 FM, still the PM side of broadcast. A beautiful Friday afternoon. Thank God it's Friday. My name is Mr. C. A special session with stakeholders from Arochukwu Kingdom. Ambassador Okereke Henry is here. Engineer Chris Dike is here as well. Mr. Walter Okoroji is here. And Mr. Chidebere Gede is here, but he joins us virtual. Yes, it's about the Ezearu kingship tussle with, just like you had during the introductory part, the government early one issuing a staff of office and certificate to Pastor Berechukwu Orji, which the position which Mazi Godwin Kanwide is still laying claim, saying, hey, his position is authentic because the process that led to his emergence followed customs and traditions. But yeah, we did hear from the government on this, and the accusations that the government really intervened on what transpired and what's going on currently in Arochukwu. The government consistently saying, hey, we did not in any way intervene. We only came in to avert chaos. It was only necessary that we get to do that. And we've been hearing bits of a special interview we did grant to the Honorable Commissioner, Prince Uzon Nwachukwu, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, was speaking for the, here's some of what he said.
Both of you, the two of you, government said none of you should go ahead and do any coronation. If government was interested in the other person, he would have told him, go ahead, you don't do. But this had at least his coronation for 24th of December, the other one put for 26th of December. Government said none of you should do that until the process is concluded. None of you is recognized. So if government says none of you, so who are they? How can you say they are backing anybody? They say you are not qualified, you are not qualified, until you follow the process as established by law. Now one of them, the one now who is now the Ezearu, backed down and wrote to the public that they had, based on instructions of the government, that they are not going ahead. The other one secretly went ahead and had their coronation in difference to what the government has said and what the police has instructed with unofficial letters. That was what led to his incarceration by the police, because the police said, we invited you, we told you not to do this, and you went ahead and did it. And they invited him, and he didn't come, so they went ahead and arrested him. Because there was a court order to that effect. They got a court warrant. So in all this, there is nothing connecting His Excellency Dr. Alex Otti. But of course, as the chief security officer of this state, the onus is on him to maintain law and order. And the Arochukwu Kingdom is a very important kingdom. Just like any other autonomous communities are also very important. So we will not allow any part of Abia State to be put under any kind of disorderliness and strife and social problems because of social upheaval, because of the interest of one or two people. The panel had concluded their work, the government studied it and gave a white paper in accordance with what the panel had done, not against what the panel had done, an independent panel. And the panel, what did they say? Look, this thing wasn't well done. Because this man had done that man had done that, the people should go back and follow the process. Now, the other two people felt in their wisdom, which also makes sense to me, that since this their former Eze-Bomisi is not that, they elected a new Eze-Bomisi because the kingmakers cannot on their own crown anybody. They had to follow their tradition. They now had an Eze-Bomisi that was like a lord unto himself, no longer subject to the people. So the people now decided, crowned another Eze-Bomisi for themselves, and said, look, by the process we had followed, this is the Eze-Aro we are presenting. So in following the process of the tradition, that new Eze-Bomisi now crowned the new Eze-Aro, which is what their constitution said. Constitution, remember, they made for themselves, not us. And once they did that, they notified government. And the process for presentation of traditional rulers is that the people must take whoever they have presented to the local government council, their own local government council. So they did that, of course, notifying us that this is what they are doing. And we say, okay, fine, if that's what the people have done, that's fine. So they were received at the local government. The local government sent the documents to us to recognize. Now, given the challenges around, we needed to, so that we can maintain peace. And then after that, they now took down here. And then ours was to give certificates. The Eze-Bomisi was here. The President General of Nzuko Ndaro. So to tell you, this is the biggest umbrella that houses all our sons and daughters. The President General came here, they presented their traditional ruler. So who again is Aro? And all their top men, professors, I saw one who said he drove down from Soka. So you're not talking about charlatans here. And so this is their candidate. And they were all here, dancing. And of course, government had to give him certificate of recognition and all that and staff of office. That's all about Eze-Aro.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we had him very well. We had him very well. I wouldn't say, because I don't want to be vulgar here by saying he lies again.
Yeah, get close to the mic.
Let me say this for him to his hearing, that whatever thing he said, he's saying it to himself and not to us. We are people. Our tradition is highly sacrosanct to us. We respect and obey our tradition and obey our elders. When he said, he keep mentioning panel of inquiry. I don't know when they brought their report and where they get whatever thing they get to submit as a report. They make their investigation through an opponent. They are not, would I say, they're not open to all. Because if they are open to us as well, or to His Royal Majesty as a Godwin candidate, they would have allowed him to talk there. They didn't allow him to talk. He told them. But
he appeared.
Yes, of course. I said I was there. I was there live with them. They talk and talk and talk. I was there. Let me just digress what they said there. When they finished talking, because they have already, you can't be making inquiry while you are concluding. That is not inquiry. They concluded already. The only thing Eze-Aro told them that you people don't want me to talk. That means you people have concluded already. That he has seen that you people are coming from the side of government, that there's nothing to talk, that you people agree. There's no point being here again. That was his last statement. We left. Is that the way to do a panel? Panel is a panel of fair hearing. I was to put a panel when Obasanjo considered to put a panel. People came and people were hearing. The panel allowed them to talk, to hear to pour their mind. After that, bring a submission. That's how panel works. It is not when you conclude you say you are doing panel. That is not panel to me.
Well,
Now, he has told you that who is in Arrow, that Godwin has a larger part of Arrow behind him. Yes, because he's our king. Who is who in Arrow are behind him? Why? Because these people felt the government want to destroy our tradition and will not allow anybody to destroy our tradition. He's saying that the government told him, don't do crowning. Did Godwin do crowning? Was Godwin crowned that day? He was crowned on 20th of October. Before the government came in. Now they said they brought an order that he was crowning on 26th December. It was a lie, sir. It is not true. His crowning was on 20th of October. There was no dispute by anybody. Everyone came up that he was doing what do you call it? Coronation crusade. Coronation crusade. The Arrow said it cannot happen in Arrow. That he cannot do such a thing in Arrow.
why is that?
Why? Because what he's doing is not supposed to. It's not aware. Even to tomorrow, he can't rule Arrow. The government can bring all the whole army, all the whole police to Arrow. My brother, you need to see what happened in Arrow the day they crowned Ebere. You need to see what you ask yourself. Is Arrow Zambiza Forest? Over 50 healers loaded with men, armed men, invaded my place. They came in 3 a.m. If you are a mother, you want to come out to go to fetch water, they ask you to go back to your house. Be on hostage.
You don't think, Ambassador, that that's the government saying, "Hey, I mean, we send. There's a possibility for chaos. Of course, this tussle is still on. Let's do this to avert any situation that might cause loss of lives and properties." Ambassador.
Okay,
Mr. Egede, you come in shortly after we've heard from Ambassador.
Okay, from what the commissioner said, the commissioner, let me not say the commissioner is okay. The commissioner is not giving the right information to the public, because we all know that the governor have severally invited His Majesty Godwin Kanyide to his house, to the house on this matter. So, and we can recall that on 10th of December, the governor made it clear to His Majesty Godwin Kanyide that he will dethrone him and nothing will happen, making reference to the Kano Emir Sanusi, the dethroned Kano Emir Sanusi that has been reinstated.
Were you there? Were you there to watch the governor say that?
I was there. I was in his house. I was in his house when His Majesty said it. So this is the statement made by His Majesty.
Let's get some. Hold on. Okay, it was recorded.
I made the statement to the public, and he signed it, and the government are yet to refute that statement made by His Majesty, and all the things His Majesty made released to the public on 10th after that 10th of December visit to the governor are all playing out today in Arochukwu, and where he said that Ibomisi selected a new SRO.
It's not true.
I want to ask the commissioner, which day did they release the white paper to the public, and which day was Ibomisi crowned, and which day was the SRO Ebere Chukwu crown? We can all know that the white paper the government are laying claim on what pushed them to do to present the staff of office to Ebere was released at 3 p.m. on 26 December, and in Arochukwu as of 3 a.m. in the morning, Arochukwu has been invaded with armed men of the police and army. And I want to shock you that even the people were not that intimidated. The people were not that intimidated upon the clouded armed men in the community, but they still speak up. So I want to finish up that part.
Vehicles,
So His Majesty has been crowned before the government came in to this matter. And if the government is making claim that His Majesty refused to listen to them when they say everyone should halt. Yes, the government said that the governor said that one of the illustrious son of Arochukwu should come into this matter and settle that matter around that December period. That was and the illustrious son took it to himself, called for meeting for all both parties, consulted the traditional institution in Arochukwu, and they made their findings, and they sat and agreed that this committee will be given 60 days to make their investigation and bring peace to Aro for this settlement. But what did the governor do?
Until 7 December, he converged them.
Until 26 December, after because the governor used that illustrious son of Aro, name it so that he can come down to Aro and celebrate his Christmas. He only used him for that. So after his Christmas celebration and the making sure that Aro Day celebration, he now reconvened them to his house, and he made the statement. He made his position known to the public, known to the elite of Arochukwu, that Ebere will be the Ezaro, or he will go back to Ngwa. That was the statement he made to the elite of Arochukwu on 26 December, the night of 26, entering the 27. So you can see that the government is fully involved in this.
Let me get to
thank you.
Let me get to Mr. Walter Okoroji. Time not a friend. We need to get to the phone line. So in case you want to contribute and react to what you've been hearing, 0816-111-5955 or 0907-103-6625. Quickly, Mr. Walter.
Thank you very much. With all they are saying here, I will not say, like you rightly said, I will not say the commissioner is he's saying what they told him, he heard from people. Because if you're a real born of Arochukwu, a son of Arochukwu, you know that all these things happened because this coronation of a thing we're talking about take place on 20th October. You understand? So after that coronation of October, things started going left, right, problems started coming. So for the commissioner saying that they asked both of them not to
go ahead with the
coronation, why he's right. He's very, very right on that, because the two parties were dragging on the 23rd. This one is dragging on the 26th. And he asks no one should do anything. The government said everybody pipe low. Now we are talking about Christmas. Everybody is doing their Christmas. So the SRO, which is His Majesty Mazi Godi, had his Christmas in his father's house. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't see where you will come out and say they did coronation. Which of the coronation we are talking about? Is it the one they've already done and the government came in and saw it that these two brothers are having issues? Okay, for the governor to make peace, which is a normal thing, which is a very good statement, that for these two people not to share blood or whatever, two of you should calm down, not to do this. Fine. But to our greatest surprise, this thing happened on I think January.
Yeah, the day they came to arrest.
The day they came was on January. And they now came to arrest him. Everybody was like, what happened? What happened? Then I put it to him that they asked him not to. Where and how? Okay, after all that, they now came again. So all these things, to me, the commissioner is speaking from what people are telling him, because if you're not a born of Arochukwu, you will not know the history, and you will not know, because to me, from my childhood, I had what we call Nnato. What we call Nnato is three fathers in Arochukwu kingdom that made up the kingdom. We have Okennachis, we have Ibomisi, and we have Ezagunokwaragwu, which is the three kindred that made up three brothers or three this thing that made up Arochukwu, three families. So coming to tell us that now that we are going to have this or do this, to me, he's just saying on what the report they are giving to him.
All right. Let's get. We need to get to the phone lines. Let's take a call or two, and then we'll still get back.
There's something I would have said.
Yes, you will. Let's do a call or two. Hello, good morning. Or good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. T.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you again. This is calling from Umwan here.
Welcome, sir.
This story is very pathetic. It is unfortunate that the government is lending itself to some bit of suspicion and ridicule. It is better for the government to come down from its high horse and readdress this issue, readdress it. But let me ask you again, what is the position with the case in court?
Yes.
Thank you.
The government.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your question. The government sued His Royal Majesty Eze Godwin Kanu Okoro Okennachi. He sued him for impersonating Asezaro. Went to the magistrate court. Magistrate court referred us to High Court that she doesn't have the jurisdiction to talk about it. That matter is still pending in the High Court. We went to High Court to challenge that motion. And to God be their glory, His Royal Majesty Eze Godwin Kanu Okoro Okennachi won that matter in the High Court. The court says...
That's the issue of impersonation?
Yes. The court said he is not impersonating anybody. After looking at all the evidences that made him Ezaro, the court says he's not impersonating anybody. That he is authentic Ezaro. That if there's anybody impersonating, it should be the opposite, not him. He won that case. They brought that case back to magistrate court. He won again. That's two winning down.
Okay. All right. So we're still taking the phone line 0816-111-5955 or 0907-103-6625. Again, it's 0816-111-5955 or 0907-103-6625. It's Family Love 99.9 FM. We've got guests right here in the studio, stakeholders from Arochukwu Ancient Kingdom, Ambassador Kirike Henry, Engineer Chris Dike Ezinta, Mr. Walter Okoroji, guests. Well, you were going to say something before.
Yes, I wanted to remind the commissioner, because he was saying that Ezaro was arrested because he was asked not to do coronation. That was a lie too.
And that he was invited by the police.
He was actually invited by the police. They came with a warrant of arrest to arrest him. The reason was that he impersonated to Ezaro by sending New Year wish message to Umaru. He wished Umaru, wherever they are, both Aro home and abroad and anywhere, that the year 2024 will be a blessed year for them. A kind of prayer to Umaru. The next day they came for arrest. That he was not supposed to do that.
Was that the reason given for his arrest?
Yes, it's in paper. That was the reason given. That they made them to come and arrest him. They took him to CCI where he stayed for 4 days. The 5th day, which was on a Monday, they took him to court. He went to court. He was asked to go home.
Okay, so hold that thought. We'll come back to you. Let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. C.
Good afternoon, sir.
I am Chief Stanley C. Atu from Anuru.
Welcome.
Yeah, please, this is a very sensitive matter.
Absolutely.
And, I believe, actually, I've had two thoughts. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe that the state government is supposed to exonerate themselves from that thing because it is a traditional affair. And again, for a situation like this, I believe that if actually it is hereditary, that is, the ownership is hereditary, there shouldn't be any two ways about it. They should look into it and make sure they maintain its status quo. That's just what I want to say. Because I've seen a situation where things, turned around against whoever that impose an exit to a community like that. So they should be very, very careful and look into it properly, especially if it concerns hereditary, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your take. We're still taking your reactions. 0816-111-5955 or 0907-103-6625. You might want to go ahead with your... Okay, well, we have another caller. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. P.
Yes.
Good afternoon to you again.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Bonaventure Walaka.
Welcome.
Yeah. So I want to ask, has this matter has went to court and the court has taken decision? Is it that the decision that the court took about this matter is not enough to decide all about this matter? Why is it that this matter is still lingering till now, even after court decision? What is the government doing concerning the court decision? These are what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's interesting you did talk about it going to court, and the verdict was given in favor of.
Yes, of Mr. Godwin.
Would like to stumble on that that document.
An injunction also was given to Mazi Ebere Enikanoji not to call any meeting that has to do with SRO, not to even do any crime, not to do anything. Till today, Ebere have refused to come to court.
Have they appealed that decision?
No, they didn't appeal it.
Not appealed.
Not appealed. Up to today, he refused to come to court. He refused to appear before the judge of a high court of a competent jurisdiction. He refused. He went ahead and doing his invitations, calling people meetings, threatening SOGOs. Let the whole world hear it. He's threatening the SOGOs that if you don't come to his meeting, the governor will dethrone you. That's what he's boasting of. That they have the government, they have the police, they have the army. That anybody that doesn't obey him, he will use army against the people. And that's what he's doing. Now, Commissioner is talking about our being on kiosk. Which kiosk passed that one? What is he talking about? As if you don't know. He knows it.
Okay, so, I mean, obviously, we can't continue with this back and forth going forward because at the end of the day, ultimately, what we would want is a peaceful Arochukwu kingdom.
Very peaceful.
Yes,
that anybody.
That is what an average Aro person would be praying for. So, but at this state, what would you want to be your prayers now that, just like you said, despite the court order, I mean the both sides are still laying claims, despite the court, from what you said. But would need to see.
Not both sides.
Yes, would need to see. Would need to see the people. I mean, both sides, of course, because we have Pastor Eberechukwu Oji. We have Pastor Eberechukwu Oji laying claim still, because he has been issued certificates as well as the staff of office. So it's right to say both sides, But ultimately, where do we go from here? Let me come to you before. Okay, well, Ambassador, you want to take that?
Okay. The main issue here is that our appeal to the government is to wash their hands off this matter. The Aruchukwu people have their tradition, and let Aruchukwu people decide who to be their king. Because the chaos or conflict or any conflict that will arise from Aruchukwu will be as a result of government involvement in what they don't suppose to involve themselves. Because today the tension is growing higher. Why? Because the government is intimidating people with their police, army, and all armed men. That if you
don't see that as though the government is bringing those to ensure that there is peace. You see it as intimidating the people.
That is intimidation. That is intimidation and imposition of a king on them. You can see that when Mazi Godwin was crowned, there was no police, there was no army, there was no chaos in Aro. It's just few people that claim to be kingmakers or that have political interest or selfish interest that want to manipulate the whole process and tagging it all the commissioner is saying. So and up to today, if you go to Aro today, the traditional the authentic Ezaro of Aruchukwu, Mazi Godwin Kani Day, move around the streets of Aruchukwu freely without any police, army, or anyone with him, because the people are his security. The people accepted it, and the people is his security. But in the case of Eberechukwu Oji, he can't parade. He can't walk to the streets of Aruchukwu without heavy armed. That to show you the situation and things on ground. And if the government withdraw their support, wash their hands off this matter will settle itself. Because we know that the ego of Pastor Eberechukwu Oji is all about the government involvement. It's all about government involvement. You can see that my colleague said earlier that he's boasting of any Ezogos that they attend his meeting will be dethroned by the governor.
Was that what he said?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to wrap up. We need to wrap up now, gentlemen. Quickly, what will be your call at this point?
My call
in 30 seconds
is to tell the government, let them wash off their hands from this matter. Let them allow Aru to be. Aru is a kingdom. Aru is not an autonomous community, as they are claiming.
Okay.
We're a kingdom that have been existing before even Abias, before Nigeria. We have been existing.
All right. Well, before Mr. Water comes through, Mr. Egede, in 30 seconds, what your final call? Hello? I think we cannot establish contact. Mr. Water.
My brother, if you ask me, I'll say please.
Okay, we have him back. Mr. Egede, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes, I'm saying what is your final call? What would be your final call on this back and forth?
Yeah.
30 seconds, quickly, please.
Can I come in?
Go ahead.
Okay. Please, I'm really, really happy how the radio station is handling this matter politely. My advice, first of all, go to the Commissioner of chieftaincy affair. It's an advice. He would have, or he can still call the family, the Ndoke family. Any panel or investigation should start from the Ndoke family. If they want to dig out the truth, the rightful person, you cannot go out and bring a external person body to come and tell you exactly what is happening inside this kitchen. Are still alive, are still living. So I suggest to other state government to go into the Ndoke family and summon them, complete Ndoke family present, and ask them to tell them the rightful person to inherit this throne, this throne.
All right.
Number one, sir. Then
30 seconds, because we're out of time. 30 seconds.
Okay. Again, if I may ask, on 9th and the 10th of May, they were sitting a reconciliation, truth and the reconciliation committee for Eze Arochukwu issue. Whereby when who is who in Aro came back to Arochukwu and did that reconciliation and the truth committee of Eze's issue of Arochukwu, they brought up a conclusion.
Well, we might have to let you go because we are definitely out of time. We did say 30 seconds. Let's
conclusion. And they wrote a letter to governor. And my surprise is that the governor did not honor that letter.
Okay. So, a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. Well, Mr. Walter, if you want to add flash in 30 seconds, please.
My plea to the government.
Yes, go ahead.
My plea to the government is they should please go back and ask the family to go back and reconcile their problem, because it's a particular family had this problem, not the whole of Arochukwu. And our people we call of Arochukwu Kingdom are not happy with what is going on. So I'm only pleading to them to look into it very, very well before they will conclude on whatever they've concluded. That's just what I want to say.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Walter Okoroji there. We did have Ambassador Kirike Henry, Engineer Chris Dike Ezinta, and of course joining us virtually is Mr. Chidibergede. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We hope that there is lasting peace in the ancient kingdom of Arochukwu. That's the much we can take. My name is Mr. Sisteon. Next would be the news in Igbo. We'll see you again.